Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so we're going to dissect a pretty fascinating real-world digital marketing offer today to see what's actually hiding inside. I mean, we see these ads literally everywhere, right? The promise of turnkey businesses, totally done-for-you systems, instant wealth generation, all for, well, less than the price of a cup of coffee. So today we're taking a magnifying glass to one specific product. It's called the AI app Blueprint, and we're going to really figure out the mechanics behind these incredibly low-priced digital offers. Let's get into it.
So the big question, the exact thing that draws so many people in, is right here. Can you really, honestly buy a complete, high-converting, list-building funnel and a premium report ready to launch in the next 10 minutes for just a single dollar? Like, how does the math actually work on that? What exactly are you buying? Well, we are going to break down the reality of this step by step.
Just take a look at this. Notice that massive, crossed-out $47 regular price? It's dramatically replaced by this bright red, today, $1 tag. It's wild. This setup leverages extreme urgency and a seemingly zero-risk price point to just grab your attention right out of the gate. Honestly, it's the ultimate front-end hook. By dropping the barrier to entry down to basically nothing, the vendor wipes out almost all financial friction for the buyer. It's a highly calculated impulse purchase, straight by design.
All right, here is our roadmap for today. First, the $1 promise. Second, what exactly is PLR? Third, inside the digital box. Fourth, the hidden funnel costs. Fifth, hype versus reality. And finally, number 6, the final verdict.
Starting right at the top with Part 1, the $1 promise, unpacking the irresistible front-end offer.
So, what's the actual pitch? Well, they're selling a complete, quote-unquote, done-for-you system. The core concept is supposed to teach your audience how to build their very first app using AI assistance in 60 minutes without writing a single line of code. No way, right? It totally positions itself as this ultimate magic bullet shortcut to instant authority, rapid list growth, and of course, massive sales. The marketing copy leans super heavily into the idea of saving you thousands of dollars and hours of agonizing time. You know, the resources it would theoretically cost you to outsource this whole creation process to a freelancer.
Moving on to Section 2. What exactly is PLR? Busting the jargon behind the product.
Before we dive into the exact deliverables, we absolutely need to define the core mechanism of what is actually being sold here, because you're going to see the acronym PLR plastered all over these sales materials. The absolutely crucial thing to understand is that this is not some proprietary software tool. Instead, it's a customizable content template that you have the rights to modify. Private label rights, that's what PLR stands for, means that when you buy this $1 package, you are definitely not buying exclusive rights. Hundreds of other buyers are purchasing the exact same content, but the license does allow you to slap your own name on it, edit the text, swap out the graphics, and basically use it to build your own email list. You can kind of think of it like a generic off-the-shelf starter kit.
Okay, Part 3. Inside the digital box. Taking inventory of your $1 purchase. It's time to actually peel back the curtain and see what hits your inbox when you hand over that single dollar. Because past all the marketing hype, an actual digital file does get delivered. You're purchasing a pre-formatted 2,410-word report on building AI apps. And the vendor makes sure to note that it's completely formatted with its own table of contents and page numbers, the whole shebang. Along with this written report, you get some professional e-cover graphics to make the digital file look like a tangible physical book. Plus, they throw in a matching set of promotional banners in a few different sizes to help you drive traffic.
Now, over on the left, we see the mobile responsive lead capture and delivery pages. These are basically standalone pages that don't need any extra software to run. Pretty handy. Then, over on the right, we've got the really crucial stuff, the source files. This includes the original docx file for the text and the PSD files for the graphics. And this right here is exactly what allows you to actually rebrand the package. Because honestly, without these source files, customizing this PLR content would be incredibly difficult.
Which brings us to Part 4, the hidden funnel costs, mapping out the escalating OTO, or one-time offer stack.
Because of course, that initial dollar is just the gateway. The vendor isn't running a charity here. That $1 price tag is a loss leader. It's totally designed to pull you into a much larger sequence of upsells. This sequence perfectly maps out how the trap is set. So once you buy the $1 front end, boom, you're immediately hit with an inline offer for a swipe bundle at nearly $10. Then right after that comes an upsell for 24 more PLR lead magnets at $17.75, and next is another offer to upgrade the licensing of your blueprint for $17. So if you say yes to all these one-time offers, your supposedly risk-free $1 impulse buy just snowballed into a $46.71 purchase. And actually, that's before a somewhat sneaky $2.99 monthly continuity trial even kicks in.
All right, Section 5, Hype versus Reality, contrasting sales claims with objective data.
We really need to separate what the sales page threatens is going to happen from what the actual platform metrics are telling us. The sales page practically screams at you, right? Warning, this $1 launch special ends soon. It heavily implies the price is going to jump to $67 if you dare to even close the tab. But when we look at independent reviewers, they note this is just a standard psychological sales tactic in the PLR space. It's usually tied to something called a dime sale pricing model. So that specific $67 figure, yeah, you should definitely treat that as more of a marketing threat rather than a confirmed real-world retail price once the launch is over.
Now, let's look at the hard data. This is pulled directly from the Live Warrior Plus stats, and it paints a much more modest picture. The conversion rate sits at a fairly standard 8%, but the earnings per click, that's a pretty dismal 8 cents. And you might notice that 0% refund rate, well, that's largely due to a small sample size combined with the vendor's explicitly stated no refunds policy on this specific package. But the real kicker here, most notably, the vendor holds a rating of just 1.92 out of 5. That is noticeably weaker than the average for this digital niche.
Finally, Part 6, the final verdict. Who really benefits and who should walk away?
To wrap things up, we need to objectively assess exactly who this product is built for, based on the actual evidence. Because let's face it, not every product is for every person, and PLR packages definitely have very specific use cases. Now, while the financial risk is practically zero at just $1, you absolutely have to remember that generic PLR is going to read like generic PLR unless you're willing to put in the work to rewrite it. So this package is actually pretty ideal for list builders or affiliates who just need a super cheap, really fast lead magnet in the AI niche, and who honestly don't mind putting in the elbow grease to edit those source files we talked about. However, you should absolutely skip this if you're expecting unique exclusive material, or if you want a fully polished final product with zero editing required. And for sure, skip it if you prefer to buy from vendors with highly rated track records.
I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on before you go out and purchase your next done-for-you digital asset. In an increasingly AI-driven world, as it gets easier and easier to just generate content automatically, simply handing your audience a generic, resold 2,400-word report, well, it might not provide the authority or the trust that you're ultimately looking to build. Look, the tools to build your business are cheaper than ever before, but the actual value you inject into them, that's what's going to ultimately set you apart. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.